freedom of conscience and religion is being challenged by laws and regulations imposed by secular society. It's time to hear from the top Christian litigators in the nation who have come forward to tell us the truth and help us defend our faith.
Hear ye, hear ye. All rise. Faith on Trial with Defender of the Faith, Deacon Mike Mano, is in session.
And good Thursday morning from the Iowa Catholic Radio Studios in West Des Moines. I'm Deacon Mike Mano here with Gina Noll. Gina, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well this morning. Thank you for asking. Got through that cold and the car started. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Is winter almost over, Deacon Mike?
We hope so. I don't know. What did the groundhog say?
Yeah, he said we got more. So
okay, all right. Well,
if he's right, we're definitely living it.
I guess we go with the groundhog then. We're going to have to button up for another couple of weeks, and we got Lent coming up very soon.
I know. Doesn't it seem late this year?
It is. It's very late this year. And we also have our Carathon coming up. So we want people to start thinking about that. Next week, we will be on the air, but not with a regular program. We'll be on the air. And so have your checkbook ready because we'll be asking you to send some of that in.
Well, and we hope that you join Team Faith on Trial so we can be responsible for helping the station in a great way next week.
That's what we want to do.
9:30 on Thursday.
And as we've mentioned before, St. Paul was alive today. He'd be on Catholic radio.
Yeah, Deacon Mike, you would probably be without a job. Huh? Do you think maybe he would be talking about all of the persecutions?
Yeah, that's right. Well, anyway, we're not going to talk about a lot of litigation today. We're going to start with a school principal, Catholic school principal, and who hosted the governor the other day and talked about some of the issues that are coming up as far as Catholic school funding or parochial school funding in the Iowa Legislature.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Our governor, our leaders in the state today are very supportive of Catholic and parochial education, which is of a great value to us. Mm-hmm. So I'm anxious to find out how that will help some of the legislation that's coming through with leaders that are ideologically aligned with our values and what they're doing to support our programs.
And where the compromises might come in when we don't always get what we want. Because I think these proposals that the governor had, or similar proposals anyway, last year kind of didn't get off the ground.
Yes.
And I know she's facing a final deadline on some of the stuff, and she's out, trying to drum up support. I was at that press conference, by the way.
Yes.
I stood with the press, although nobody there knew me, but I stood with the press.
Well, they do now, right?
And Brad Zahn was there. Well, they did when it was over because.
That's
governor,
right. You did your job.
I did my job and visited with the governor a little bit.
And Senator Zahn was there also?
Yes, Brad Zahn was there. Yeah.
Yes, he's a big supporter of
is.
Catholic education here in Polk County. Glad to have him.
He certainly is, and of course we'll be talking about that in a few minutes. But before, do you have a prayer for us?
I do. A prayer for peace this morning. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. God of peace, bring your peace to our violent world. Peace in the hearts of all men and women, and peace among the nations of this earth. Turn to your way of love those whose hearts and minds are consumed with hatred. Strengthen us in hope, and give us the wisdom and courage to work tirelessly for a world where true peace and love reign among the nations and in the hearts of all. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Gina. And we will be back in a few minutes with Ellen Stemler, who is the principal of St. Theresa's Catholic School in Des Moines. You're listening to Faith on Trial on Iowa Catholic Radio.
Iowa Catholic Radio would like to thank our business partner, Elite Glass and Metal, LLC in Johnston. New construction, existing projects, and emergency service. EliteGlassandMetal.com, 515-284-0141.
Support for Iowa Catholic Radio provided by Blessman International. According to a global food security report, more than 820 million people in the world are hungry today. None of us can help them all, but how about one child? Blessman International provides 60,000 children in South Africa with a daily hot meal, place of safety, educational experience, and spiritual development. Learn more at blessmaninternational.org. That's blessmaninternational.org. Thank you, Blessman International, for your support of Iowa Catholic Radio.
Support for Iowa Catholic Radio provided by Five Sons Naturescapes. Five Sons Naturescapes is a Catholic veteran-owned family company providing premium outdoor landscaping. Learn more about Five Sons Naturescapes at fivesonsnaturescapes.com. fivesonsnaturescapes.com.
Support for Iowa Catholic Radio provided by the Sarah Vocations Ministry, including the St. Sarah Club of Des Moines and the Sarah Club of Council Bluffs. Sarah is an apostolate of the Worldwide Catholic Church dedicated to fostering and supporting priesthood and religious vocations. Sarahans strive to accomplish their mission through prayer, fellowship, and service to the bishop, priests, sisters, and all in religious formation, and in doing so to increase their own holiness. Learn more at joinsarah.org, joinserra.org. Thank you, Sarahans, for your support of Iowa Catholic Radio.
Support for Iowa Catholic Radio provided by Paul Martin and Paul Mitchell, owners of Imogene Ingredients. Imogene Ingredients supply specialized feed ingredients for livestock and pet diets to improve maternal and young animal health in both conventional and organic production. And we're back. You're listening to Faith on Trial on Iowa Catholic Radio, and joining us today is Ellen Stemler, who is the principal of my alma mater, St. Teresa's Grade School in Des Moines. Ellen, how are you this morning?
I am wonderful. Welcome, or hello, Deacon Mike and Gina.
Certainly. We're glad to have you with us. And I met you the other day, I think, for the first time, and at the governor's press conference that she had there. And it was a nice event, well attended by the press. And I noticed you had some students in the room too. They must be 7th or 8th graders, they look like to me, and I don't know if they were in a particular class that was good to hear the governor or whether they were just randomly chosen. Do you know?
Those were some of our 8th graders who actually would have been in that classroom for social studies at the time of the press conference. Okay, and so that fit right into what they were learning. It was perfect, and they were so engaged. It was just a wonderful opportunity for them to see government in action, and then also to watch the interaction with the governor and the press, and then to see some of the other people that were there as well. So just a great Tom Chapman, I noticed, was there too. Tom Chapman was there. Brad Zahn was there. Dan Ryan from Dowling. We had Dowling student there, Charlotte James and her mom, and it was a very good group of people. And also the governor's chief of staff, Sarah Craig, is an alum of St. Teresa as well. So you're in very good company. Well, now I'm not giving away anything here, but I'm from the class of '63, so. A St. Teresa alum is still a St. Teresa alum. That's right. All right. Well, the governor's message was in support of these bills that she has in the legislature right now that may or may not be doing well. My understanding is they're facing a final deadline there, and so they may or may not survive. But let's talk about these bills and what they would do to parochial education in the state of Iowa. Well, the main bill that she was talking about was the Students First Scholarship. And this is first week funnel in the legislature right now, so we don't know what's going to happen. But this would just offer a choice for parents for their to choose whether they wanted to keep their children in public school, if they wanted to homeschool, if they wanted to come to public or charter or private or charter school. This would pertain to people or students from kindergarten, the first year, and it would be based on economic need and also special learning needs. So from my understanding, it is split half between financial need and half between special education need. So it is evolving, and they would actually, their public school would keep a portion for pupil funding, but they wouldn't keep all of it. The governor, I'm sure, could do a much better job talking about this than I can.
Just for our listeners to understand how public schools are funded in the state, if you don't mind, Ellen, I'll just do a quick outline for you. We as taxpayers pay property taxes, and a portion of our property taxes support our public schools in our counties. And that money is there no matter what. The state does not have any control of it. And the state, long ago, because some counties have lower property values, they could not support their schools in the same way that some of the higher valued districts could. And so the state came in quite a while ago and made a formula that made equity and all of that. And that's called state funding, or state portion of the per pupil funding in the state of Iowa. And so that's what we're talking about today, is the state's portion of that per pupil funding.
Correct. And according to this, $5,359 would follow each eligible student who withdraws from a public school until they graduate. $2,270 with the state would be reallocated to smaller, mostly rural school districts, and then $1,458 would be retained in local tax dollars at the respective public schools.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So this is a system that would then allow certain educational dollars to follow the student as opposed to going directly to the school.
Correct. And right. What the governor talked about also was this was an opportunity for parents to make a choice for the educational opportunities that they best fit their child. Public schools are not for every child. Catholic schools are not for every child, but it allows parents the opportunity to make that decision.
Okay.
And I think since the pandemic, we have seen a lot of parents that do want more choices. Correct. I can tell you that we have received the CTO, the Catholic Tuition Organization. It's called an STO in legislative language, and that brings in approximately $200,000 annually to St. Theresa students who otherwise would not have been able to attend Catholic school, while also giving a tax credit to donors who choose to donate to that. We also at St. Theresa are a STEM school. We are nationally renowned. We have taken advantage of every STEM scale-up possible since its inception 11 or 12 years ago. And
what is STEM?
STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math.
Okay, so you have courses that specifically address the kids who have an interest in that.
It's not specific courses. It's actually in all that we do. And what STEM does at its highest level is you pull the individual learning out of the silos. Like you take the reading, you pull the math, you pull the science, you pull the faith formation, which the faith formation is the foundation of everything. And they use the knowledge from all of that to create new things, new ideas. And as I said Tuesday, the biggest byproduct of STEM that we had never even considered was the gift of resiliency, because the kids don't just try once and give up and they're done. They keep going back and trying to figure out, what could we do better? What could we do different? Well, what if we move this? And it's just, it should not be a separate class. It is everything. Our kids have worked with cleaning water products. Our first graders and seventh graders worked with that a couple years ago. They are working with NASA in middle school on growing things for the International Space Station and experiments with that. So these are real-life things the kids are doing.
I love that.
I understand there was, an instructor from Annapolis was visiting you and did a class or two?
Yes, we had two instructors from the Naval Academy here helping us with sea perch. And sea perch is underwater drones that the students build and code, and then they have to have them complete tasks underwater. And they came to help the teachers learn how to build them first. And then the teacher that was in the classroom, Rhonda McCarthy, took the first team in the state of Iowa to the national competition 3 years ago. And from that, we had the commander of the USS Iowa here 2 weeks ago because he wanted to check out sea perch.
Yeah, so I have to admit that wasn't available when I was at St. Teresa's. And I might have been something other than just a lowly deacon. Might have been a naval commander or something.
Oh, well, you'll have to come back and see sea perch in action.
I will. That sounds like it's kind of interesting. I'd like to sit in on some of that. And, of course, I have a little goddaughter who's over there right now.
And we love Evelyn.
Yeah, and that was her mother that was also one of the speakers there too at the podium when the governor was there. That's how I found out about. I'm on the governor's mailing list, but that's how I found out about the press conference. Was I got a call from Evelyn's mother.
Well, they had asked us to provide a parent that this bill would possibly impact, and Jessica is the one that I thought of because she has responded to several legislative requests that I have made of parents to contact their legislators, and she did a wonderful job and was very eloquent in sharing her story and her hopes and dreams for her daughter and the opportunities that this would provide for Evelyn.
And not to change the subject, but Evelyn, and I can't lie about this, I'm a deacon, is the cutest 5-year-old little girl in the whole world.
Yes. Jessica and her godfather have done a wonderful job with Evelyn. Yes.
All right, so what should people do that are interested in this? Is there a way they can contact the legislature or their legislators?
There's a couple different ways. They can go to Iowa Catholic Conference. Tom Chapman was also here on Tuesday. And if you don't know where your legislator is, you can just type in Find My Legislator, and there are several websites. You type in your address, it'll take you right there. There's a lot of different places that you can find it, but the important piece is to contact them and let them know your thoughts because they are Iowa's representatives. And as I said Tuesday, this is not just to benefit the kids in Catholic schools or private schools. This is to benefit all of the children of Iowa because our parents and our teachers pay taxes, and this is just giving parents an opportunity. And we all want the best for every single child in Iowa.
Well, and it provides a choice. I mean, you stated in the very beginning, and I believe it wholeheartedly because my children have gone to different schools because there is a best fit for a student somewhere. It's not always your neighborhood, government-selected building.
Well, correct, and it allows parents the opportunity to make those choices. And we continue to see that with legislation that is here in Iowa and nationally. And so if people just, my recommendation would be go to Iowa Catholic Conference. And They have got action alerts there. And Tom and his staff do a tremendous job. In fact, I was very surprised to see Tom because it is the first week funnel.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should have been down
Hopefully
there.
He didn't miss anything at the Capitol while he was at your press conference.
Well, we have a lot of good people working for all of the people of Iowa. And, we gave Governor Reynolds the Little Flower Award for St. Theresa because prior to being governor, as the lieutenant governor, she was very involved with STEM. So I've had the opportunity to work with her.
That's very true.
She truly is looking out for the best benefit of the state, and it is all about the kids. And what people didn't see in the press conference was afterwards, she went in and spent about a half an hour in our middle school science room. She was truly engaged in what the kids were saying. She wanted to know what they knew, and we wanted to show her the results of the STEM scale-ups and how it's changed the culture of learning at St. Theresa. And many of our Catholic schools have STEM, and then moving forward, they're all going to have STEM.
Very good. We have to leave it there because we're out of time now, but I want to thank you for joining us and ask the folks to contact their legislator about these issues because there's a wealth of knowledge and goodwill with the Catholic and parochial schools, and we want to tap into that.
Thank you very much.
Certainly. Ellen Stemler, who is the principal of St. Teresa's Catholic School here in Des Moines. We will be right back after these messages.
St. Thomas Classical Academy is hosting a lecture Saturday, March 12th, starting at 7 p.m. Raising Catholic Men with Daniel Kerr, president and headmaster of St. Martin's Academy, a Catholic high school for boys that combines classical academics with an integrated work program on a sustainable farm in Fort Scott, Kansas. Raising Catholic Men, Saturday, March 12th at St. Thomas Classical Academy, 4801 Franklin Avenue, Des Moines. Learn more at stthomasclassical.org. That's stthomasclassical.org.
The Iowa Catholic Radio Network is supported by our listeners and business underwriters. Join us today in welcoming a new underwriter, Knights of Columbus Insurance General Agent Michael Borman, providing financial security to members and their families. Online at kofc.org.
Support for Iowa Catholic Radio comes from Rick Schaefer of Sullivan Auctioneers, LLC, conducting professional full-service auctions for farmland and farm machinery since 1979. And Sullivan Land Company Real Estate Brokerage, 515-313-5508. SullivanAuctioneers.com.
St. Vincent de Paul helps so many people.
You're right, Zoe. St. Vincent de Paul Executive Director Steve Havman here. We are serving over 32,000 local residents with food, clothing, furniture, and financial assistance annually. We invite you to learn more about all of our life-changing programs that positively impact so many Iowans by simply Googling St. Vincent de Paul of Des Moines. Our mission is to help those in need become self-sufficient through education, community connectedness, and unconditional support. Help us, help others.
Even kids!
And you're listening to Faith on Trial on Iowa Catholic Radio. We are back now. Gina.
Isn't Principal Stemler just the sweetest principal? I would have loved to have. I had a nun, Sister Bertina. Mm-hmm. She was a little tough. So
I had a nun too.
Yeah,
and a lot of nuns at the time.
Principal Stemler seems very sweet and kind, and just good to her students.
That was my first chance to meet her. That was the other day. And I know Jessica, my friend, has talked a lot about her and what she's been doing over there with the kids.
In the break, we were discussing how we need to keep an eye on this. It's a great program that our governor has recommended. It will be a good deal or an influx of revenue for some of our schools and allow some of our citizens or students in our community to be able to attend a Catholic education. And that in itself is very wonderful. But I have a little bit, this program is all about saving our religious liberties and protecting our First Amendment rights. And it makes me a little nervous to find our government funding our education, because we won't always have leaders that are ideologically aligned with our teaching.
Right. In other words, there's something more permanent that is structured maybe a little bit differently but has the same effect.
Yeah, I mean, there might be other ways to do this, but I just want our listeners to understand.
I think the governor's going to have to look for those other ways, because I don't think this is going to fit through the funnel.
If you don't think it'll get through?
I don't think it'll get through, no.
It'll be interesting to see if it does, because it's just a small minority of students at this point. It's for those at 400% of poverty rate and any student that has an IEP or special learning needs. So it's a small population, but it's a program that I think
it was limited
once
to
it's
10,000
implemented,
or
it'll
something
grow.
like that. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So, those of us who were a little concerned about how Common Core affected us in our private schools should keep an eye on this, because we don't want the government to have a lot of control over our educational systems.
That's true. And speaking of control and what the government is doing, we had this story out of Finland, and we're going to follow up on it and try and get some more information later. But we have I guess it's a Lutheran bishop and a member of parliament there who's a medical doctor, and she's also a grandmother, and they're both on trial. I guess the trial is just closed. They don't have the decision back yet. And they are charged with ethnic agitation. Mm-hmm. And what it is they apparently tweeted out or spoke or printed a pamphlet on the Christian beliefs in marriage.
Right. Quoting directly from the Bible.
Right. And one of the charges was that I guess it was the bishop actually quoted out a passage from the Bible. Mm-hmm. And that's what he sent out, and that's what he's being charged with. And I looked up last night this concept of ethnic agitation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it sounds like I got the quote from the Finnish law. And it sounds like anytime you make any type of insulting comment about anybody on the basis of their religion, their creed, their national origin, or whatever, that makes them uncomfortable, you can be charged with this crime, and if found guilty, 2 years in prison.
Yeah, right. They're facing jail time for tweeting and displaying their faith publicly. And one of the reasons that this is a problem is because there were members of this particular denomination who were defending same-sex marriage. And so they were expressing their views as people of faith, saying, wait a minute, this is not biblically correct. Mm-hmm. And the government came in and arrested them, and they now are standing. And I had even heard a news report. I have not verified this yet. In fact, I'm hoping that we can cover this story with one of the lawyers following this case closer at some point.
I think ADF may be involved some way. Yeah.
But both the bishop and the member of his congregation were offered a plea deal to denounce what they had expressed publicly, and they denied that deal. They were not going to deny their faith.
Yeah, and I guess the prosecutor told them that they could believe whatever they wanted and have in their head anything they want. But in Finland, it's the Finnish law that takes precedent over everything else, even their biblical beliefs. So they could not express that in any way.
Out loud, right, or publicly.
Yeah. So you can pray in your head, but you can't pray out loud, I guess.
And we need to watch this case closely because this is the kind of thing that can spread very quickly, especially with the kinds of controls that we've seen over the last couple of years.
But we were doing it here. That's what the Equity Act was all about. The Equity Act that was passed in the House of Representatives, all Democrats voting for it, would have led to some of these results. And we talked about that numerous times on the program, had different guests in, and I'm happy that didn't go anywhere in the Senate, but these ideas are percolating among progressive-minded people, and they're going to come back to bite us if we're not careful. And that's what we talk about. Eye on it. That's what we talk about here.
And both of these issues, as I say at almost every program, are a result of our elections. So your responsibility as a civic leader is to vote.
All right. Well, I'm getting the message that we're out of time, so let's finish with our Defender's Prayer. I guess we're gone. Okay. I guess we ran completely out of time. We'll see you at the Carathon next week.
Our freedom of conscience and religion is being challenged by laws and regulations imposed by secular society. Faith on Trial with Defender of the Faith, Deacon Mike Mano. Faith on Trial, Thursdays at 10 a.m. on Iowa Catholic Radio, iowacatholicradio.com, and the Iowa Catholic Radio app.